Sit close and be still for a moment. Not because stillness is required, but because when the body softens, the heart begins to listen. I speak to you not as a teacher above you, but as one who has walked through the same dust, felt the same hunger, trembled with the same fears, and discovered something simple that changed everything. I speak to you about letting go, not as an idea, not as philosophy, but as a flame I carried through the long night of suffering. Once, I too held tightly. I held to my name, to my family, to my youth, to my body, to my desires, to my thoughts, to my wounds. I believed that holding was safety. I believed that clinging was love. I believed that grasping was strength. But every time I closed my fist around life slipped through my fingers like sand. And the tighter I held, the more it hurt. Look at your own hand now. Close it tightly. Feel the strain. Feel how quickly the muscles tire. This is how most human beings live their entire lives. Clenched, defending, gripping, afraid to lose, afraid to change, afraid to die. And because of this fear, they never truly live. I discovered something under the Bodhi tree. Not through effort, not through struggle, but through exhaustion. I had tried everything. Extreme discipline, extreme denial, extreme control. I tried to conquer desire as a warrior conquers an enemy. But desire only grew stronger. The mind is strange. Whatever you fight, you feed. Whatever you chase, runs. Whatever you cling to, controls you. So one night, when even effort felt heavy, I stopped trying. I stopped resisting. I stopped becoming. I simply sat, breathing, watching, allowing, and slowly, like autumn leaves falling one by one, things began to drop away. Not because I forced them, but because I no longer held them. This is the secret most people miss. Letting go is not something you do. It is something you stop doing. You stop gripping. You stop insisting. You stop arguing with the sky. Imagine a river. Does the river cling to yesterday's water? Does it try to keep a single drop? If it did, it would become a swamp. Stagnant, dark, breeding suffering. Because it flows, it remains fresh. Because it releases, it remains alive. You are that river, but you have tried to become a stone. You try to freeze moments. You say, this happiness must stay. This person must stay. This body must stay young. This success must stay forever. And life smiles gently and changes anyway. Then you suffer, not because change is painful, but because resistance is painful. When a tree loses its leaves in autumn, it does not weep. It does not say, these leaves were mine. It does not beg the wind to return them. It stands bare, open, trusting, and because it lets go, spring always returns. If the tree refused to release its leaves, new ones could never grow. So I ask you now, what are you still holding that has already ended? A memory? A regret? An old love? A version of yourself that no longer exists? You carry ghosts on your back and wonder why the journey feels heavy. Let me tell you something gently. Nothing has ever truly belonged to you. Not your body, not your thoughts, not your relationships, not even your breath. Everything has been borrowed for a while, like a traveler resting in a small hut before continuing the journey. When you understand this deeply, gratitude appears. Because instead of saying, "This is mine forever," you begin to say, "Thank you for this moment." And gratitude is light. Clinging is heavy. Once, a man came to me crying. He said, "Master, my son has died. My heart is broken. I cannot live." I did not tell him to stop loving. I did not tell him to be strong. I simply asked him to sit beside me. We watched the sunset together. The sky slowly changed colors. Orange, gold, purple, then darkness. I asked him, "Did you try to stop the sunset?" He said, "No." I said, "Did you hate the sky for becoming night?" He said, "No." I said, "Then why do you fight the sunset of life?" Tears fell from his eyes, but this time they were soft, not bitter. Because he understood, love does not mean possession. Love means appreciation. When you hold a flower too tightly, you crush it. When you hold it gently, you can enjoy its fragrance. Letting go is not indifference. It is the purest form of love. It says, you are free. And because you are free, you may stay or you may go. Either way, my heart remains open. This openness is freedom. Most people think freedom means getting everything they want, but that is slavery, because then you depend on everything. True freedom is needing nothing to stay. Imagine how light you would feel if nothing could be taken from you, because you were not clinging to anything. This is how I walk through the world. Things come, things go. Praise comes, blame comes, health comes, illness comes, life comes, death comes. I bow to all of them. I hold none of them, and so my heart remains like the sky. Clouds pass, storms pass, birds pass, but the sky never holds, and therefore it is never wounded. You too are that sky. But you have mistaken yourself for the clouds. Every thought you say, "This is me." Every emotion you say, "This is mine." So when the cloud darkens, you say, "I am dark." When anger appears, you say, "I am anger." When sadness appears, you say, "I am broken." No, these are visitors. You are the space in which they appear. Let them come. Let them go. A guest who is not resisted leaves sooner. A guest who is chained becomes a prisoner, and prisoners bring suffering to both sides. So, when sadness comes, sit with it like an old friend. When fear comes, offer it tea. When anger comes, breathe with it. Do not say stay. Do not say go. Just watch, and everything will dissolve on its own. This is the great miracle. Life heals itself when you stop interfering, just as a wound closes naturally when you stop scratching it. Letting go is the art of not scratching the wound of existence. And slowly, gently, quietly, peace begins to grow inside you like dawn light spreading across the horizon. Not dramatic, not loud, but certain. And once you taste this peace, even for a moment, you will understand why I say the greatest power is not control. It is surrender, not defeat, but trust, not weakness, but vast strength. Because only the strong can open their hands. Only the wise can release what they love. Only the free can say yes to change. And when you learn this, every step becomes light. Every breath becomes enough. Every moment becomes complete. Nothing missing, nothing extra. Just this, just now, just being. And in this simple being, the whole universe is already perfect. Come a little closer in your heart and walk with me again, slowly, as though we are walking barefoot on cool earth at dawn, when the world is quiet and even the birds have not yet remembered their songs. Do not hurry these words. They are not meant to be understood quickly. They are meant to be felt, like warm sunlight on closed eyelids. When I speak of letting go, many people become afraid. They think I am asking them to lose everything. They think I am asking them to abandon love, to abandon dreams, to abandon life. No, I am asking you to abandon only your chains. There is a great difference between holding something gently in your palm and tying it tightly to your wrist. One is love, the other is fear. Most of what you call attachment is not love at all. It is fear wearing the mask of love. You say, I cannot live without you, but this is not devotion. This is dependence, and dependence always carries the seed of suffering. If someone becomes the source of your happiness, they also become the source of your terror, because every moment you fear losing them. So even when they are with you, you are not at peace. You are guarding, watching, clinging, calculating. This is not love. Love is relaxed. Love breathes. Love says, I am grateful you walk beside me. If tomorrow you choose another path, I will bless you and continue walking. Do you see the difference? One heart is tight, the other is vast, like the open sky. When I left my palace long ago, many believed I was renouncing the world, but in truth, I was renouncing my illusion of ownership. Before leaving, I believed, this is my kingdom, my wealth, my family, my future. Such heavy words. My. Each my was a stone placed upon my chest. How could I breathe under such weight? But when I stepped into the forest with nothing, something strange happened. Instead of feeling poor, I felt light. Instead of feeling lost, I felt free. For the first time, the wind touched my skin without permission. The moon belonged to no one, and therefore it belonged to me completely. When you own nothing, everything becomes a gift. When you claim everything, nothing satisfies you. Have you noticed this in your own life? When you buy something new, you feel joy only for a short time. Then fear appears. Fear of losing it. Fear of damage. Fear that someone else has something better. So the very thing that promised happiness now brings anxiety. This is the nature of clinging. It always whispers, not enough. But the heart that lets go whispers, already complete. Imagine two travelers crossing a desert. One carries 10 heavy bags filled with possessions. The other carries only water. When the sun rises high and the sand burns their feet, who suffers more? The one who tries to protect his bags. Every step is struggle. Every mile is complaint. The other walks lightly. He arrives smiling. Life is this desert. You cannot avoid walking. So why carry so much? Why carry old insults from years ago? Why carry guilt from mistakes already finished? Why carry the opinions of people who have forgotten you? Why carry an image of who you think you should be? Put them down, right now. Even as you listen, imagine placing these weights on the ground. Regret, put it down. Resentment, put it down. The need to be admired, put it down. The fear of failure, put it down. Feel your shoulders. They have been tight for years. You thought this tension was normal, but it is only the burden of unnecessary things. When the mind lets go, the body relaxes. When the body relaxes, the breath deepens. When the breath deepens, the heart opens. And when the heart opens, compassion flows naturally, without effort. This is another secret. Clinging makes you small. Letting go makes you vast. A person who clings can only think of themselves. My pain, my loss, my success, my story. But when you release this small me, something beautiful happens. You begin to feel everyone. Their joy becomes your joy. Their suffering becomes your suffering, not as a burden, but as connection. Like waves belonging to the same ocean. When one wave rises, all rise. When one falls, all fall. I remember sitting beside a river during the rains. The current was strong, wild, unstoppable. Branches, leaves, even entire trees were carried away. At first, I thought, how destructive. But then I saw something deeper. The river was not destroying, it was cleansing. Everything old, everything dead, everything stuck was being taken away. Only fresh water remained. Letting go is like this river. Sometimes it feels frightening because it sweeps away what is familiar. But what it removes was never truly alive. It was only clutter, dead wood in the heart. You ask me, how do I let go? And I smile gently because the question itself is the problem. To ask how is already effort. Letting go is not an action like lifting a stone. It is the relaxation of an action. It is stopping the constant tightening. Right now, notice your breath. Are you forcing it? No, it flows by itself. Life already knows how to move. You interfere too much. The mind keeps saying, this should not happen. That must happen. This must stay. That must leave. Endless arguments with reality. And reality always wins. So you feel defeated. Instead, become friends with what is. If rain falls, let it fall. If plans break, let them break. If someone misunderstands you, let them misunderstand. If the body ages, let it age. You are not here to control the dance. You are here to dance with it. A dancer who tries to command the music becomes stiff. A dancer who listens, moves gracefully. Listen to life. Flow with it. When you try to hold a wave, your hand returns empty. When you become the ocean, nothing can be lost. This is why I teach you to watch your thoughts, because thoughts are the smallest things you cling to, yet they create the greatest suffering. A single memory repeats again and again, and you relive pain that no longer exists. A single imagined future creates fear for something that has not happened. You suffer more from imagination than from reality. So sit quietly and observe. See how thoughts come like birds landing on a branch. If you chase them, the forest becomes noisy. If you remain still, they fly away on their own. You do not have to solve every thought. You do not have to answer every fear. Let them pass like clouds. Have you ever tried to push a cloud away from the sky? It is foolish. Yet this is what you do inside your mind all day. pushing, fighting, resisting, and then you say you are tired. Of course you are tired. You are fighting the wind. Rest. Simply rest inside awareness. Let everything come. Let everything go. Gradually, a space opens inside you. A vast, silent space. In this space, nothing sticks. Insults dissolve. Praise dissolves. Memories dissolve. Even the sense of I dissolves. And what remains is peace. Not the peace that depends on circumstances, but a peace that is your true nature. Like the still depths of the ocean that remain calm even when the surface storms. When you discover this depth, you will laugh softly at your old struggles. You will wonder why you tried so hard to control a world that was never yours to control. You will walk more gently, speak more kindly, love more freely, because you know nothing can be kept, and because nothing can be kept, everything becomes precious. This moment, this breath, this simple listening, all miracles, all temporary, all beautiful, like dew on morning grass, shining for a short time before disappearing into sunlight. Would you try to trap the dew in your hands? No. You would simply admire it while it sparkles. Live like this. Appreciate. Do not possess. Experience. Do not imprison. Hold, but with open palms. And slowly, without effort, suffering loosens its grip, like a knot untangling itself in warm water, and you begin to walk through life the way I walk now. Light, empty, grateful, untouched, free. Stay with me a little longer, as though we are sitting beside a small fire in the quiet hours before dawn, when the world is neither night nor day, when everything feels suspended, when even your thoughts grow softer. This is the hour when truth is easiest to hear, because the noise of becoming has grown tired, because the mind has stopped chasing, because the heart is finally willing to simply be. I speak to you now not to teach you something new, but to remind you of something you have always known, something you felt as a child before the world placed names and fears upon your shoulders. You were once effortless. You once laughed and then forgot why you laughed. You cried and then forgot why you cried. You built sand castles and watched the sea take them away without sorrow. That was wisdom, but slowly, the world told you to hold on. It said, remember everything. Protect everything. Defend everything. Compete with everyone. Become someone. And the moment you tried to become someone, you stopped being free. To become someone, you must constantly compare. Am I better? Am I worse? Am I ahead? Am I behind? Comparison is a subtle chain. It binds you quietly. If someone rises higher, you feel small. If someone falls lower, you feel proud. Your peace depends on others. How fragile that peace must be. When I say let go, I also mean let go of this constant measuring. A flower does not compare itself to another flower. The lotus does not envy the rose. The bamboo does not wish to be the oak. Each simply grows according to its nature, and because of this, each is perfect. But humans suffer because they have forgotten their own nature. They try to become copies. They try to fit into shapes that were never meant for them. Then they say, why am I unhappy? It is because you are fighting your own river. Letting go means allowing yourself to be exactly as you are in this moment, not the improved version, Not the future version, not the imagined enlightened version. Just this, breathing, imperfect, trembling, beautiful being. If anger is here, let it be here. If confusion is here, let it be here. Do not add a second pain by saying, I should not feel this. The first pain is natural. The second pain is created by resistance. Imagine you fall while walking and scrape your knee. That is the first pain. Simple, sharp, real. But then the mind says, why did this happen to me? I am so careless. This always happens. Life is unfair. Now you have created 10 more wounds in the mind. This is unnecessary suffering. Letting go means feeling life directly, without adding stories. Just sensation, just experience, just what is. When hunger comes, you eat. When tiredness comes, you rest. When sadness comes, you breathe with it. So simple, but the mind complicates everything. It builds entire worlds out of thought, and then gets lost inside them. I've watched thousands of people sit before me, each believing their suffering is unique, special, different from all others. But when they speak, I hear the same story in many voices. I lost something. I want something. I fear something. Always the same 3 movements: loss, desire, fear, all born from clinging. If you hold sand in an open palm, it stays. If you squeeze it tightly, it slips away. This is how life works. When you cling to youth, you suffer aging. When you cling to health, you suffer illness. When you cling to life, you suffer death. But when you accept change as the nature of existence, suffering dissolves like mist under the sun. Once, a woman came to me carrying her child who had died. Her eyes were wild with grief. She begged me, please, bring him back to life. Her heart was breaking, and I did not speak to her of philosophy. I did not speak of detachment. Pain that deep cannot hear such words. Instead, I asked her to bring me a handful of mustard seeds from any house where no one had ever died. She went from door to door. At each house they said, yes, take the seeds, but death has visited us too. By sunset, her steps had slowed. Her tears had changed, not gone, but softened. She returned, empty-handed, and she bowed, not to me, but to truth. She saw that loss is not personal. It is universal. Everything that is born must pass. When you understand this, not with the mind, but with the bones, you stop arguing with reality, and something inside relaxes. Grief still comes, but it is clean, not bitter. Love still exists, but without chains. This is the difference. Letting go does not mean you stop feeling. It means you feel fully without drowning. Like standing in the rain without trying to stop the clouds. You simply get wet, and then you dry. So many people are afraid of pain, but pain is not the enemy. Clinging is the enemy. Pain is just a visitor. It knocks. It stays. It leaves. But when you lock the door and shout, "Go away," it lingers outside all night. When you open the door and say, "Come, sit," it finishes its tea and goes quietly. Try this with your own sorrow. The next time sadness comes, do not distract yourself. Do not reach immediately for noise, for screens, for conversation. Sit quietly. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe slowly and say, I see you. Stay as long as you need. You will be surprised. Sadness, when welcomed, becomes gentle. It transforms into understanding. It teaches you compassion for others. Only those who have touched their own pain can truly hold another's hand. So even suffering has a gift. Nothing in existence is useless. Everything flows. Everything teaches. Everything leaves. This is the dance. And you are not separate from it. You are not a small being struggling inside a giant universe. You are the universe itself, moving temporarily in the shape of a human, like a wave rising from the ocean. For a moment you say, I am this wave, but soon you fall back into the sea. Nothing is lost. The water remains water. When you deeply know this, death itself loses its terror. Because what can die? The form changes. The essence remains. You have changed bodies since childhood. The child's body is gone. The teenager's body is gone. Yet something has remained constant. The silent awareness watching all these changes. That awareness is your true home. It cannot be held. It cannot be harmed. It cannot be lost. Let go into that. Rest there. Be the watcher, not the grasping hand. Then life becomes like watching clouds drift across the sky. Beautiful, temporary, untouchable, and you smile more. Not because everything is perfect, but because you no longer demand perfection. You allow imperfection to exist. You allow life to be messy, unpredictable, wild, and in that allowance, a deep serenity blooms, like a lotus rising unstained from muddy water. You live in the world, yet the world does not cling to you. You love, yet you do not imprison. You act, yet you are not anxious about results. You walk, yet you leave no footprints in the heart. This is the power of letting go. It turns ordinary life into freedom. Not somewhere else. Not after death. Here, now, in this very breath. And as you sit with me in this silence between words, feel how light you already are. Nothing to achieve, nothing to hold, nothing to defend. Just awareness, just presence, just this gentle, unfolding moment. Remain here with me, friend, as though we are walking along a quiet path after the rain, when the earth smells fresh and every leaf carries a drop of light, when the world feels washed clean without trying to be clean. This is how the heart feels after letting go. Not improved, not perfected, simply washed, simply natural. I speak slowly because truth moves slowly. The mind runs, but wisdom walks. If you rush, you will only collect more noise. So let us walk, step by step, breath by breath. Feel how each breath comes without your command. You do not order it. You do not design it. It simply arrives, and when it has finished, it leaves. This breath is the greatest teacher of letting go. It teaches you thousands of times each day. Receive, release, receive, release. If you ever tried to hold your breath forever, life would immediately become suffering. Yet this is what you try to do with everything else. You try to hold moments, hold people, hold success, hold youth, hold certainty. You try to freeze what was never meant to be frozen, and so you suffocate. Learn from the breath. Let everything flow through you. Experience fully, then release completely. Nothing stays. Nothing needs to stay. This is not tragedy. This is beauty. Because nothing stays. Everything is precious. If the sunset lasted forever, you would stop looking at it. If the flower never faded, you would forget its fragrance. Impermanence is what makes life sacred. Once, while sitting under a tree, I watched a small child chasing butterflies. Every time he caught one, he closed his fist tightly, afraid it would escape, and every time he opened his hand, the butterfly was crushed. So he cried, again and again. Finally, his grandmother showed him something. She said, "Open your hand like the sky, not like a cage. Let it land by itself." And when he relaxed his palm, the butterfly rested there willingly, then flew away. He did not cry this time. He smiled because he had enjoyed its presence without trying to own it. Be like this child, but learn the second lesson as well. Let everything land. Let everything fly away. You ask me, but if I let go, will I not become empty? Yes, you will. And this emptiness frightens you only because you misunderstand it. You think emptiness means nothingness, but true emptiness means space, openness, capacity. A cup is useful not because of the clay walls, but because of the empty space inside. A house is livable not because of the bricks, but because of the empty rooms. The sky is beautiful because it is empty enough to hold stars, clouds, birds, and moonlight. If the sky were solid, nothing could appear. So when I say become empty, I mean become spacious. Become vast enough to allow everything. Right now, your heart is crowded with old arguments, old identities, old stories, old expectations. There is no space for life to dance. It is like trying to invite guests into a room already filled with broken furniture. Letting go is simply clearing the room, throwing out what is unnecessary, not violently, gently, one piece at a time. You do not need to force awakening. You only need to remove what blocks it. The sun does not need help to shine. The clouds only need to move. Your peace is already here. Your joy is already here. But you have covered them with layers of clinging, layers of fear, layers of becoming. Remove these, and what remains is your original face. The face you had before the world told you who to be. Sometimes people ask me, "Master, why do I feel tired even when I do nothing?" I tell them, "You are never doing nothing. Your body may be still, but your mind is holding the entire universe, holding memories, holding future plans, holding grudges, holding self-images, holding imaginary conversations. This is exhausting. Imagine carrying 10 heavy stones all day. Even if you sit, you will still feel tired. Put the stones down, and suddenly, even walking becomes light. Try this now. For a moment, drop your past. Not solve it, not analyze it. Just drop it. For a moment, drop your future. Not plan it, not worry about it. Just drop it. What remains? Only this simple presence. Notice how peaceful it already is. Nothing missing, nothing extra. The present moment has no burden. Burden exists only in time, and time lives only in thought. When thought quiets, you return to timelessness. This is why meditation is not concentration. It is not control. It is not effort. It is the art of stopping. Stopping the endless grasping. Stopping the constant commentary. Stopping the struggle to become. When you stop stirring muddy water, it becomes clear on its own. Clarity is natural. Peace is natural. Freedom is natural. You do not create them. You uncover them. There was a monk who tried very hard to become enlightened. He fasted. He prayed. He forced himself to sit for long hours. His face became tense. His heart became heavy. One day he came to me and said, "Master, why am I not free yet?" I asked him. "If you try to sleep, can you sleep?" He said. "No. The harder I try, the more awake I become." I said, "Exactly. Sleep comes when trying stops. Freedom is the same. Letting go is the same. It comes when the struggle ends." So he stopped striving. He began simply walking, breathing, smiling, watching the clouds, and one day, while sweeping fallen leaves, he laughed. Nothing special had happened, no miracle, just the absence of effort. And in that absence, everything was complete. Do you see? Freedom is not an achievement. It is a relaxation. Not climbing higher, but putting down what you carry. You are already home. You have only been running in circles outside your own door. When you stop running, you notice you never left. This is the great joke of existence. So let your life become simple. Eat when hungry. Rest when tired. Speak kindly. Forgive quickly. Own little. Love deeply. And hold nothing. Then even ordinary days become sacred. Washing your hands becomes meditation. Walking becomes prayer. Listening becomes compassion. Because nothing inside you is resisting. You are flowing with life like a leaf floating down a stream, trusting the current, not asking where it goes, knowing the river already knows the way. And when you trust like this, fear slowly fades, because fear comes from the illusion that you must control everything. But when you see that life has always carried you from childhood to now without your control, you begin to relax. The heart softens, the shoulders drop, the breath deepens, and gratitude appears for no reason at all. Just gratitude for being, for breathing, for this simple moment. This is the fragrance of letting go. Light, gentle, unforced, like a flower opening by itself at sunrise. Nothing to push, nothing to pull, just unfolding. Stay here in this feeling. Let these words dissolve into silence. Let even my voice go, because the truth is not in the words. It is in the quiet space they leave behind. And in that quiet, you will discover what I discovered under the Bodhi tree. Nothing to hold, nothing to lose, nothing to become. Already whole, already free. Come, sit again beside me in the shade of this wide and patient sky, and let us not hurry the heart, for truth does not bloom when chased. It opens like a flower when the sun simply rests upon it. And so I will speak as one who has nothing to prove, nothing to gain, only to share the quiet fragrance of what has been seen. When you begin to understand letting go, something subtle changes inside you, almost too subtle to notice at first, like the way night becomes dawn without a single loud moment of transformation, and yet suddenly the birds are singing and the darkness has disappeared, and you wonder when it happened. Freedom comes like that, not like thunder, like light, very gently. You do not wake one morning and say, "Now I am free." Instead, one day you realize you did not argue with someone who insulted you. You did not cling to praise when it came. You did not replay yesterday 100 times. You did not fear tomorrow so much. And you smile softly because the chains have grown thin, not broken with force, worn away by understanding. This is the way of wisdom. It does not cut, it dissolves. I remember once watching an old fisherman untangle his net at the edge of a lake. The net had caught on many small branches and stones beneath the water. If he pulled violently, it only tightened, so he moved slowly, patiently, loosening one knot at a time. His hands were gentle, almost loving. After some time, the net was free. Your mind is like this net. If you try to tear yourself free with violence, with harsh discipline, with self-hatred, you only create more knots. But if you look carefully, kindly, patiently, each knot loosens by itself. So do not fight yourself. Do not become your own enemy. Many seekers make this mistake. They try to conquer their anger, conquer their desire, conquer their fear. But who is conquering whom? You divide yourself into two and create war inside your own heart. How can peace grow from war? Instead, befriend everything inside you. When anger appears, say, "Ah, anger has come." When jealousy appears, say, "Ah, jealousy has come." Do not say, "This should not be here," because whatever you reject hides in the shadows and grows stronger. What you accept gently transforms. Have you ever noticed how a child stops crying when you hold them with warmth, but cries louder when you scold them? Your emotions are the same. Hold them. Do not punish them. Letting go does not mean pushing things away. It means allowing them so completely that they no longer need to stay. This is a great mystery. What you allow dissolves. What you resist persists. Try to push water away and your hand remains wet. Let it flow and it passes. Your whole life you have been pushing away failure, pushing away embarrassment, pushing away loneliness. And because of this, these things chase you endlessly. Turn around, face them, invite them to sit beside you, and watch how quickly they lose their power. I once sat alone in a forest during the cold season. The wind was sharp. The nights were long. Fear visited me. Old fears, animal sounds in the dark, memories from childhood. The mind creating dangers that were not there. At first, I wanted to move, to light a fire, to protect myself. But instead, I sat still and said, "Fear, come. If you wish to stay, stay. If you wish to go, go. I will not fight you." And something unexpected happened. Fear had nothing to hold on to. It flickered like a candle in the wind. Then it vanished, because fear feeds on resistance. Without resistance, it starves. This is the power of letting go. It removes the fuel from suffering. You do not defeat darkness. You simply stop feeding it. Light appears naturally. And slowly, you begin to trust life more deeply. Trust is another name for letting go. Trust means you do not demand guarantees. You do not demand certainty. You do not demand that tomorrow obey your plans. You walk forward anyway, like a traveler crossing a foggy field, seeing only one step at a time. One step is enough. Life has never shown you the entire path, yet somehow you have arrived here. Did you plan every breath, every meeting, every change? No. Still, life carried you, like a mother carrying a sleeping child, even when you did not know the way. So why not relax into that carrying? Why pretend you are alone? You are held by existence itself. The trees breathe out what you breathe in. The rivers become your blood. The sun becomes your warmth. Everything supports you, and still you cling as though you must control everything. It is like a leaf trying to control the wind. So exhausting, so unnecessary. Be the leaf that dances, not the leaf that fights. And as you let go more and more, you will notice something beautiful in your relationships. You stop trying to change people. You stop trying to shape them into your desires. You allow them to be, and strangely, this makes love deeper, because now you are not loving an image. You are loving reality. Before, you said, I love you if you behave this way. I love you if you stay. I love you if you agree with me. This is bargaining. This is trade. This is not love. Love with letting go says, I see you as you are. I do not cage you. I do not own you. Walk beside me freely. And because there is no cage, the heart feels safe. Even distance cannot break it. Even change cannot wound it. Because love is no longer possession. It is presence. Just presence. Like the sun shining on all without asking anything in return. Try living like the sun. Giving warmth without keeping score. Without saying, I gave you light yesterday, now you owe me. Just shining. And when clouds come, simply shining behind them. This is the effortless compassion that grows from letting go. Not forced kindness. Not moral duty. Natural kindness. Because when you are not busy protecting me and mine, there is so much space to care for everyone. Your heart becomes wide like the horizon. Nothing excluded. Nothing rejected. Even those who hurt you. Even those who misunderstand you. Because you see, they too are clinging. They too are afraid. They too are suffering. And how can you hate someone who is drowning? You simply offer your hand. This is how the awakened heart moves through the world. Soft, unarmed, yet stronger than any armor. Because nothing can be taken from it. What can you steal from an empty hand? What can you threaten in one who clings to nothing? This is invincibility. Gentle invincibility. Not the strength of a sword, but the strength of water. Water yields to everything. Yet over time, it shapes mountains. Be like water. Flow around obstacles. Do not crash against them. Accept the shape of each moment. And still continue. Always continue. Then life stops feeling like a battle. It becomes a dance. A dance with change. A dance with loss. A dance with joy. A dance with death itself. And you move lightly, smiling, because you know none of it can be held, and none of it needs to be. So sit now for a moment in this quiet. Feel your hands. Unclench them. Feel your jaw. Soften it. Feel your breath. Let it fall like a sigh. Nothing to protect. Nothing to achieve. Nothing to carry. Just this living moment. Whole. Complete. Enough. Come, sit a little closer to the silence with me again. as though the night has grown deep and the stars are bright above us, and the world has forgotten its noise, and only the soft rhythm of breathing remains. Do not try to understand what I say. Understanding belongs to the mind. I am speaking to the heart. Let the words pass through you like wind through tall grass. Let them touch you and move on. Nothing to catch, nothing to store. This too is letting go, even of teachings, even of me, because if you cling even to wisdom, it becomes another burden. Truth is like a raft used to cross a river. Once you reach the other shore, you do not carry the raft on your back. You bow to it, and you leave it behind. In the same way, these words are only rafts. Do not collect them. Do not decorate them. Do not say, "This is my knowledge." Knowledge carried too long becomes pride, and pride is one of the heaviest chains. Instead, remain empty, fresh, beginner-like the sky after rain, always ready for new clouds, always unstained. When I first began walking the path, I believed awakening would be something grand, a great explosion of light, a voice from the heavens, some extraordinary event that would separate me from the world. But what I discovered was so simple that the mind almost overlooked it. Nothing special happened. Birds still sang, leaves still fell, people still argued in the marketplace. The world did not change. Only one thing changed. The one who was clinging disappeared, and when the clinging disappeared, suffering disappeared with it. Life continued exactly as before, but now it flowed. Before, I was swimming against the current. After, I was floating. The river had always been carrying me. I had only been exhausting myself by fighting it. Perhaps you are doing the same. Perhaps you have been fighting for so long that you have forgotten what rest feels like. Even in sleep, the mind struggles. Even in joy, you fear its ending. Even in love, you fear loss. Always guarding, always bracing, like a soldier who never leaves the battlefield. No wonder the heart feels tired. Letting go is finally putting down the sword, not because the world is safe, but because you no longer wish to live in war. And when you put the sword down, something miraculous happens. You notice there was no enemy, only your own fear, only your own imagination. The world is not against you. It never was. It is simply changing, always changing, just as clouds change shape, just as seasons turn. Only the mind says, "This should not change," but life smiles and changes anyway. Once, while walking through a village, I saw an old man sitting outside his small house. His body was thin, his clothes were simple. He owned almost nothing, yet his laughter filled the entire street. Children gathered around him as though he were a king. I sat beside him and asked, "What is your secret?" He said, "I lost everything many years ago. My land, my money, my family. At first I cursed the heavens, but after losing everything, there was nothing left to protect. And when there was nothing to protect, fear left me. And when fear left me, I discovered happiness had been here all along." He laughed again, like a child. "Do you see? Sometimes life takes things from you, not as punishment, but as liberation. But you call it tragedy, because you do not yet see the gift. Every loss is space. Every ending is room for something new. If you cling to the old, you cannot receive the new. Your hands are already full. So, Existence gently pries your fingers open. You cry, you resist. But later you realize those empty hands are capable of receiving the whole sky. Trust this process. Even pain has intelligence. Even loss has compassion hidden inside it. Nothing happens outside the great unfolding of life. You are not being singled out. You are being shaped. Like a stone in a river being smoothed into beauty. The water does not hate the stone. It only polishes it. Let life polish you. Let difficulties soften you. Do not become hard. Hard things break. Soft things endure. Look at the bamboo in a storm. It bends, so it survives. The rigid tree snaps. Be like bamboo, flexible, humble, yielding. This yielding is not weakness. It is deep wisdom. Because what you resist, you become entangled with. What you allow, you move beyond. So if someone insults you, why carry it for days? The sound has already vanished. Only your clinging keeps it alive. Drop it. If someone praises you, why build your identity from it? Tomorrow, they may criticize you. Drop that too. Walk empty, then nothing sticks. Like rain falling on a lotus leaf, touching but never clinging. This is how the awakened heart lives in the world, fully involved, yet untouched, like an actor who plays a role beautifully, but never forgets it is only a play. Before awakening, you believe every role is permanent. I am this profession. I am this status. I am this story. So when the role changes, you feel lost. After awakening, you play every role lightly. Today, parent. Tomorrow, friend. Tomorrow, stranger. All costumes, all temporary. The true you is the silent awareness wearing these costumes. When you know this, you enjoy the play more, because you are not afraid of the curtain closing. Even death becomes only another costume change. Nothing to fear, just another step in the dance. And when fear of death fades, life becomes incredibly vivid, colors brighter, sounds clearer, love deeper. Because you are no longer protecting yourself from endings, you are open to everything. This openness is the greatest courage. Not the courage to fight, but the courage to be vulnerable, to love knowing it may end, to live knowing you will die, to give knowing nothing returns. This is true strength, and strangely, when you live like this, life feels kinder. Because you are no longer demanding anything from it. You accept whatever comes, like a guest accepting whatever food is served. Grateful, content, peaceful. Try this tomorrow when you wake. Before thoughts rush in, before plans arise, simply sit for a moment. Feel your breath, feel the weight of your body, and say quietly inside, today I will hold nothing. Whatever comes, comes. Whatever goes, goes. I will remain open. Carry this intention gently, not as discipline, as remembrance through the day. Whenever you notice tension, ask yourself, what am I holding right now? An expectation, an outcome, an image of how things should be, and softly release it again and again, like exhaling. This is the practice. Not complicated, not mystical, just releasing. Thousands of small releases, until one day there is nothing left to release, and only freedom remains. And then you will laugh softly, the way I laugh now, because you will see that the door was never locked. You were only leaning against it. Step aside, and it opens by itself. So rest here with me in this quiet understanding. Nothing to grasp, nothing to defend, nothing to become. Just this endless, gentle unfolding. Stay with me now. As the night grows softer and the air cooler, as though the long journey of the day is gently folding into rest, do you notice how everything in nature knows how to end? The sun does not struggle when it sets. The bird does not argue when the song is finished. The wave does not cling to the shore. Only the human mind says, "Not yet, not yet, a little longer." And because of this small resistance, you suffer. Letting go is learning how to end gracefully, ending a day, ending a conversation, ending a season of life, ending even a version of yourself. All suffering comes from pretending something should last forever. But look closely. Nothing in existence has ever promised permanence. The flower blooms. The flower fades. The river rises. The river falls. Breath enters. Breath leaves. This rhythm is not cruel. It is music. But you try to hold one note forever. Then the music becomes noise. When you truly understand impermanence, something inside you relaxes deeply. You stop demanding eternity from temporary things. You stop asking people to stay the same. You stop asking life to repeat yesterday. Instead, you begin to whisper, "Thank you. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this meeting. Thank you for this breath." Gratitude is what naturally grows when clinging disappears. Because when nothing is owned, everything feels like a gift. Even simple things. The warmth of tea in your hands. The sound of rain on the roof. Footsteps on the floor. A stranger's smile. These small things were always miracles, but you were too busy chasing bigger ones to notice. Letting go returns you to simplicity, and simplicity is where peace lives. I have walked through palaces and forests, through crowds and through silence, and I tell you honestly, happiness is not hidden in special places. It is hidden behind the thoughts that say something else is needed. Drop that thought, and happiness is already here, right here, not later. Not somewhere else. This, just this. Feel your body sitting. Feel the gentle movement of your breath. Hear the faint sounds around you. Nothing missing, nothing extra. If nothing changed for the rest of this moment, would anything truly be lacking? The mind says yes, but the heart knows no. The heart is already complete. It is the mind that keeps inventing hunger. So let the mind grow quiet now. Let it rest like a tired child finally falling asleep. You do not need to solve your whole life tonight. You do not need to fix every flaw. You do not need to become enlightened tomorrow. All of that is striving, and striving is another form of clinging. Instead, just be. Be like the mountain, not trying to be taller. Be like the river, not trying to reach faster. Be like the sky, not trying to hold the clouds, just existing effortlessly. And from this effortlessness, right action naturally arises. This is another secret people misunderstand. They think letting go means becoming passive or careless. No, when you stop clinging, your actions become clearer, more precise, more compassionate, because they are no longer driven by fear or ego. They come from wisdom, like a mirror reflecting exactly what is in front of it. Nothing added, nothing distorted. When someone is hungry, you feed them, not because you want merit, not because you want praise, simply because hunger is there, and feeding happens. So natural, so simple. This is how life moves, through an unclenched heart, without calculation, without self-concern, just flowing like wind through an open window. You become a passage, not a prison, and in becoming a passage, you feel incredibly light. Sometimes people ask me, what remains after letting go of everything? They expect some grand answer, some divine vision. But what remains is very ordinary. Chopping wood, carrying water, walking, smiling, breathing. Life exactly as before. But now there is no burden, no constant story of me and mine. Just pure experience, just aliveness. Before awakening, you carry life. After awakening, life carries you. Can you feel the difference? Before, every step felt heavy. After, even standing feels weightless, because nothing psychological is being dragged behind you. No past, no future, just now, always now, and now is always kind. It is only memory and imagination that hurt. The present has never hurt you. Right now, in this exact moment, are you lacking anything? Or is everything simply okay? See? Peace was never far. You were just looking away. So, slowly, gently, like leaves falling from a tree, let everything unnecessary drop. Drop yesterday. Drop tomorrow. Drop who you think you should be. Drop who others think you are. Drop even the idea of becoming free. And what remains? Just awareness. Clear, open, silent. This awareness has never been trapped. It has only been watching. Watching childhood. Watching youth. Watching joy and sorrow come and go. Like seasons passing across the same sky, you are that sky. Not the seasons, not the storms. The sky. Nothing sticks to the sky. Let nothing stick to you. Then life becomes incredibly simple. Wake, breathe, love, serve, rest. And when the time comes to leave this body, leave it the way a traveler leaves an inn, grateful for the shelter, but not clinging to the room. This is the final letting go. And when you live your whole life practicing small let-goes, the final one is easy. Just another exhale. Just another release. Nothing dramatic, just peace. So sit here a little longer in this softness. Feel how there is nowhere to go, nothing to chase, nothing to hold, just this quiet miracle of being alive. Stay with me now, quietly, gently, as though the long walk is almost complete and we can already see the faint glow of home in the distance. There is no need to hurry. When you know you are close, the steps naturally slow down. The heart begins to soften. Even the air feels kinder. This is how the end of clinging feels. Not dramatic, not loud, just lighter. All this time I have been speaking of letting go, but truly there is nothing to throw away. You do not discard life. You simply stop gripping it. You do not renounce love. You remove fear from love. You do not abandon the world. You abandon the illusion that the world belongs to you. And when this illusion falls, what remains is simple and pure and strangely ordinary. Look at your hands for a moment in your mind. Imagine they have been clenched for many years. Inside them you have tried to hold memories, people, identities, successes, wounds, opinions, expectations. You held so tightly that the muscles forgot how to relax. Now, slowly, very slowly, let the fingers open. Nothing needs to be forced out. Just open. Feel the space. Feel the relief. This small gesture is the whole path. So much suffering came only from closing. You thought holding meant safety, but holding only created fear of loss. You thought control meant strength, but control only created tension. You thought attachment meant love, but attachment only created anxiety. When the hands open, safety, strength, and love appear on their own, like birds landing on a quiet lake. Understand this deeply. Life was never against you. It was never punishing you. It was only moving, and you were calling movement a problem. The river flows and you say, disaster. The seasons change and you say, loss. The body ages and you say, tragedy. But the river is simply flowing. The seasons are simply turning. The body is simply following nature. The pain was never in the change. The pain was in your resistance to change. If you stop arguing with the river, you can float. Floating requires no effort. A dead leaf floats easily because it does not insist on direction. Be like that leaf, not lifeless, but effortless. There is a great peace in not demanding that the world match your preferences. The sky does not promise sunshine every day. Why do you demand that your life be only pleasure? The sky allows storms too, and because of that, it remains vast and beautiful. Allow your inner sky to have storms. Let anger pass. Let sadness pass. Let joy pass. Let excitement pass. You are not any of these. You are the space in which they appear and disappear. When you truly see this, a quiet laughter arises. You laugh at how seriously you took every thought. Every small insult felt like a wound. Every small praise felt like victory. You built a whole identity out of passing sounds. It is like writing your name on water and crying when it vanishes. Nothing written on water stays. But you kept trying. Rest now. There is nothing to write, nothing to prove, nothing to become. Just this breathing, this simple awareness, this moment that asks nothing from you. When I sat beneath the tree on that silent night long ago, I was not searching for enlightenment anymore. I was too tired to search, too tired to improve myself, too tired to fight desire or fear. I simply sat, completely surrendered, completely empty. And in that emptiness, truth revealed itself like the moon emerging from clouds. It had always been there. I was the one creating the clouds. You are doing the same. You keep stirring the water and then complain that it is not clear. Stop stirring. Be still. Clarity is natural. Peace is natural. Freedom is natural. They are not achievements. They are what remains when effort ends. Even now, as you listen or read, notice the quiet behind the words. That quiet is not created by me. It is already inside you. My words only point to it, like a finger pointing to the moon. Do not stare at the finger. Look at the moon. The moon is this silent awareness. It has followed you since childhood. It watched you learn to walk. It watched you fall in love. It watched you cry. It watched you succeed and fail. And through all of it, it remained unchanged. That watcher is who you truly are. Can the watcher be hurt? Can the watcher be lost? Can the sky be damaged by passing clouds? No. Then why do you fear so much? You are identifying with the clouds instead of the sky. Shift gently. Just notice. Thoughts are happening. Feelings are happening. Life is happening. But you are the noticing. The noticing is free. Rest is that. When you rest as awareness, forgiveness comes easily. You stop replaying old hurts. You see that everyone who hurt you was also clinging, also afraid, also confused. How can you hate someone who is asleep? You simply understand. And understanding melts resentment like sunlight melts frost. Compassion grows naturally from letting go, not forced kindness, not moral effort, just a soft heart. Because when you are not busy defending yourself, there is so much room to care. You begin to move through the world gently. Your words become fewer but warmer. Your actions become simpler but clearer. You no longer chase greatness. You simply do what is needed in each moment. If someone is thirsty, you offer water. If someone is sad, you listen. If you are tired, you rest. Life becomes very small and very beautiful. Before, you wanted extraordinary experiences. Now even ordinary breathing feels sacred. This is the miracle. Nothing changed, yet everything changed. The same sun rises. The same streets exist. The same people talk and argue and laugh. But inside, there is space. And in that space, everything shines. A cup of tea becomes enough. A quiet evening becomes enough. A single smile becomes enough. Enoughness is the fragrance of letting go. Desire says, more. Fear says, not enough. Wisdom says, this is complete. When you live from completeness, you stop running. And when you stop running, you finally notice where you are. And where you are is always here. And here has always been home. You were searching for home while standing in it. You are searching for peace while breathing it. You are searching for freedom while being it. The search itself was the only barrier. So now let the search end. Not because you found something, but because you realized nothing was missing. Feel the softness of that. Nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing to fix. Just this living, changing, shimmering existence. Let it come, let it go, like waves rising and falling on the same ocean. You are that ocean. Waves may be born and die, but the ocean remains. Bodies are born and die, but awareness remains. Forms change, essence stays. So why cling to the temporary costume? Wear it lightly. Play your role beautifully, and when the scene ends, bow and walk off stage smiling. This is how a wise one lives, and this is how a wise one leaves, without struggle, without regret, without fear, just gratitude. Gratitude for the chance to breathe, to love, to learn, to experience this strange and beautiful dance called life. So now, as these words grow quiet, let even them go. Do not hold this teaching. Do not repeat it endlessly. Simply live it. Open your hands. Open your heart. Flow with what comes. Release what goes. Trust the current. Be kind. Be simple. Be present. That is enough. Sit for one last moment in silence with me. Feel your breath. In, out. Nothing to add. Nothing to remove. Just peace. And in this peace, The journey ends where it always was. Here, now, free,